Hello, people. And today I will be... Marker, check 2. We'll be reviewing this bad boy, the Ultimate Effects Darth Maul saber. And yes, it comes in 2 halves. I'm a one saber kind of guy, so I just used one saber so far. Let's start with detailing. Now, this isn't like the, what are they called? The high-grade ones. Force effects, where the hilt would be made of metal. And you can see at the end, now it doesn't have kind of like a burnt mark, because in episode 1 it got chopped off, and that's why Maul used one saber for a little bit. But I'm guessing that's where the crystal goes to create the blade. And I'm not 100% certain of that one, because I saw in one of the visual dictionaries like a cross-section of a lightsaber, and I believe the crystal actually goes in the middle. So, the funny thing about this is that it is accurate to what Darth Maul used in Episode 1 and the Clone Wars. But, if you flip the design around, it's actually near identical to the one that Mace Windu carried in Episode 1, sans the, broken off part. Now, let's talk about the blade. The blade is very high density carbon fiber, or at least a very strong plastic. I mean, I whacked this thing against my friend's saber a good many times yesterday, trying to get some choreography right for a fight. And the one problem I had with my Anakin Episode 3 lightsaber is that, when I had that, the top popped off easily. Now, it's actually, it's one piece. It splits down the side right here. So you're more likely to get cracks splitting it, rather than anything related to the top popping off. And considering it's for a prequel trilogy character, I have no idea why they didn't make the top kind of like pointed, because that was how most of the lightsabers looked. But alright, let's go ignite this baby and talk about that. But shows you have 0 meaning off, 1 meaning, let's see, try me, kind of like a in-store demo type of deal. So, turned it on during try me. It'll make random sounds. Hit it. I just tilted it, but it turned off. And number 2. On. So, in the Force Effects one, you turn this little red thing right up here in this exact area, and if you notice, there's some slits, as that's where the sound comes out, and you twist it, and that's how you ignite the blade. With this one, this little thing ignites the blade. Let me, get dramatic. And yes, your hand this way and this way, more or less, is one way you can hold the blade for, I believe, defense. I've never had to do that. It comes on. It's a much stronger red color than it's appearing on the phone. And I think it's unfortunately late to say this, yeah, you're getting some sound effects, like maybe you're tapping a wall or something. So, not very sensitive to movement, like the force effects. You gotta apply, a little more pressure. Yeah. The lightsaber shake? Oh, wait. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I think, personally, they should have made the ignition switch this, or maybe even something higher. Maybe something you switch in the vein of this, because this is pretty sticky when it comes to, turning on. I mean, you keep it on, you turn it on and it's going to stay on. You turn it off, it's going to stay off. It's very hard to move, actually, to the point where my nail actually got pretty destroyed trying to flip it that way. So let's ignite it again. Very accurate ignition. And again, this is coming off just like some random red light. But it is a pretty vibrant light. And let's see. Good variety of clashing noises. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a noise for when you clash and hold against another saber. I think that little spark-based noise is probably it, but it is pretty impressive, and for a budget price, $40 versus over $100 for one of the force effects, it is pretty good. And if you're aiming at, whacking the shit out of this thing, oh god, that was naughty. No, but I mean, literally, playing with this thing, you're gonna get your just dues, and it's definitely one of those really fun must-have Star Wars items. I want to give it a 9.2 out of 10. Now, the regular Darth Maul Force Effects lightsaber improves on it in a lot of different ways. It's definitely more sensitive to movement, so you move it instead of having to go kind of almost like a hacking motion to get the I think the thing that really sells me is the high density carbon fiber blade on such a cheap thing, and the fact that it's my first light up blade. I mean, it's the first thing that I have remotely close to that Darth Maul blade that's a force effects that's, red. I do notice that this red is not as dark a red as the, Darth Vader and the other Darth Maul and various other red lit, force effects by master replicas. So my current rating is a 9.2 out of 10. The 10 is going to come from the fact that you can still connect it to another identical lightsaber with a little connector piece, which is nothing special. The only part it plays is connecting the two blades. And today I hope to get some footage of me and my friend training for our movie, which we don't even have a title for. We have a script, and it's kind of, sorry about that, I had to, wipe off my camera like usual. And I'm rocking my Avengers swag. I guess you could say it's like an entry-level lightsaber. The real entry-level, not those ones that slide. You know, you have to flick them. Wait, let me get the motion. Like, you flick them, and they don't make any lights or sounds, but, you know, they're cheap plastic, so those are still good, and I have, like, 8 of those. And those are great in training, you know. And, in fact, you know, my sensei in karate, when, you know, I started having an interest in, you know, katanas and weapons training, he said those are a good idea to use. So they're $35, $42 depending on tax, depending on what Toys R Us you get it at. And I would say I still need the Darth Maul Master replicas, like that half of Darth Maul's two-bladed saber. Definitely the Mace Windu. Oh my god, they finally, like, created the ultimate hilt design. It's got Electrum, and I think it's made out of, in the movie continuity, I think it's made of frick alloy, which is resistant to other lightsaber clashes, so that it'd probably take a little damage to the hilt, but not full. Yeah, Mace Windu, they need to make a Sidious Master Replica's lightsaber, and I think that with the mods I can make, I can do a new sound chip where, you know, if you ignite it slowly, it goes, and if you do it fast, I mean, Star Wars fans know what I mean. And all the little motions you make, it's ultra motion sensitive, so it'll work just like a real lightsaber would. And the other modification I'm making to the chip is the clash. There is no clash on this. You can't just clash it against another saber and go that kind of thing. But that's my brief review. I'm going to come up with a part 2 once I unbox the second part. Now, I don't know if I'm going to explain a lot about the second part other than what it's like when they're both connected. And I'll show you, you know, some moves and maybe like a butterfly twist. So, that was my review of the first half of the Ultimate Effects Darth Maul lightsaber. Awesome. 9.2 out of 10. See you, people. Bye. Oh wait, it didn't turn off. Johnny!